Before we came to Da Nang, we had a lot of unanswered questions, which you likely do as well if you clicked on this video. So today, my goal is to answer as many of those questions that we had as I possibly can, so when you come to Da Nang, you won't have to go through the same hassle we did of going through the unknown of showing up in a foreign country halfway around the planet and not having any clue what you're really getting yourself into. So today we're going to go over about 20 questions, and hopefully we will answer everything you will need to know before you get here. So let's dive in. So first thing you're going to want to do before you get here, once you're approved for your Vietnam e-visa, make a paper copy. I had a lot of trouble in an airport because I had a digital copy and an email of the visa. Everything was approved, but it was still not good enough. We needed a paper copy. So print a paper copy, or you're going to go through the same hassle and you will likely miss your flight. I almost did. I was just fortunate enough that I could download a PDF file from the website and email it to the lady at the desk on her cell phone. That's how I got on the plane. It was a headache. So just print your visa. Next, you're going to want to download WhatsApp and Zalo, which is one of the main forms of communication down here. With those, you will not need a phone plan because everybody communicates on WhatsApp. So as long as you have a data plan, which is extremely cheap, you can talk to everybody with the apps. You're also going to want to download the Grab app because it's basically like the Uber of Da Nang. You can order food on there, you can get your taxi on there, whether it's a bike or a car. It's very, very convenient, so you're 100% going to want the Grab app. You will use it regularly, I promise. And food delivery is so cheap with the Grab app, it's crazy. Sometimes we get delivery for like 40 cents, it's nuts. Next, number 3, you're gonna wanna have an Airbnb booked before you get here for at least a few days, so then when you land, you have a place to stay and go to sleep after the 30-hour-long flight from Canada, which we had coming here. You can go straight to sleep, and then you will also have a few days to kind of see the area, get your bearings, and see where you wanna stay if you're coming here on a 3-month visa like we did. Number 4, navigating Da Nang Airport. There is literally nothing to it. You get off the plane, follow the leader, and you'll just end up at an escalator that you walk down, and you can see all the desks, the check-in, the customs, the whole works. It's right in front of you. Extremely easy. We were in and out of the airport in like 10 or 15 minutes from when we landed. It was the easiest changing country experience I think I've ever had. We just walked down the escalator, went through the desk and got our passport stamp, and we read out the other side and it was done. So easy. And this is where the Grab app comes in handy because as soon as you go through customs, you can just book a Grab on the app and they will meet you outside and take you to your Airbnb. I do not recommend hiring anyone at the airport. There have been a few cases here lately. Actually, a friend of ours we met down here yesterday, he paid 5 times the price for his ride because somebody came up to him and showed him the app on the phone with the price list for Grab, told him he'd take him to his Airbnb, and he did. But instead of it being a 100,000 Vietnamese dollar ride, he paid 500,000 Vietnamese dollars. So he got completely screwed on the price because the guy wasn't even a legit Grab driver. So book on the app, then it's secure and legit. Traveling to your Airbnb, what to expect? Sit back and enjoy the scenery. Da Nang is so small, you will likely be there within 10 minutes. So just keep your camera out. When you get to your Airbnb, whether you're on the east or west side of the bridge, you're roughly about 10 to 15 minutes max from the airport in any of these directions. So it's a very, very short drive. Enjoy the beautiful bridges that are here, and the Dragon Bridge and the river, and there's so much nice things to see. So just sit back and relax, get your camera out. You're on holidays now. So your next priority once you arrive here is going to be finding a long-term apartment, because you should have your Airbnb for your first few days so you can get your bearings like I mentioned. But now you're going to want a place for maybe a month, maybe 3 months. I would suggest doing 1 month at a time. Even though it may be cheaper to book 3, you'll still get a good deal booking a whole month. But the advantage is, once you book for a month, it'll give you a chance to see if you like the area, if it's quiet, if there's a lot of nighttime construction and noise and karaoke, which there is a lot of, and you do not want to be going to bed at 10 and hearing karaoke scream until 3 a.m. and then wake up again at 6 a.m. to construction noise. So you're going to want to really look around and see where you're staying. Check out the buildings nearby. Is there new construction going up? It'll really help in your sleep. We went through that trouble too, as you can see here. Where to find apartments? You can use Airbnb once you get here, and then you'll likely just pay a flat rate for your apartment. We like the marketplace. The only difference is the prices will be cheaper on the marketplace, but that's because your utilities aren't included yet. What you can expect to pay for utilities is between 3,000 and 4,000 dong per kilowatt hour for electricity is about the going rate, and roughly about 100 to 200,000 dong per month for your water per person. So if you're running your air conditioner all the time and you're here in dry season when it's 38 degrees, we ran our air conditioner differently for 2 months. For the first month, we ran it only at night when we slept, and our bill for the month was about 1.7 million. The second month, Rebecca wanted to try leaving it on all day on eco mode, and the bill was about 2 million. So it went up 200,000 or 300,000. Not a big difference, but there is a difference. Now that it's rainy season, there's a cool, damp air all the time, so we only use the fan. So we're expecting our bill this month to be even lower, but we're not sure what it'll be yet, because some days Rebecca likes to be cold and she got the air conditioner on bust. So it is what it is. Something to keep in mind when you're using Facebook Marketplace though is, because you're out of your home country, if you start messaging people on Facebook Messenger here about ads, you will likely get thrown in Facebook jail. Isn't that lovely? I messaged an apartment and I shot one message to one single person, and I got locked out of my own Facebook for almost 2 weeks. So luckily Rebecca had hers and she was able to get one message off, and then she was locked out as well. So this is where your WhatsApp and Zalo apps will come in. So then if there's a number on the ad, you can message them on WhatsApp instead of messaging them on Facebook, so you don't get locked out of your own account. Because for us, that was actually our means of communication until we got our SIM cards. The next thing you're going to want to know is, where should you stay? East of the river, west of the river, north or south? That's going to be dependent on what kind of experience you want. I would suggest as a tourist staying east of the river, closer to the ocean, because you have really quick access to the beach. There's a lot of westernized restaurants. It's very developed and set up for tourists. Lots of really nice apartments, beautiful coffee shops and restaurants, really good food, and everything is walkable. Very, very nice, especially in the southern part near Mayan, if I pronounce that right, Mayan, and Antung. So that's like the south part on the east of the river. If you go to the northern part, east of the river, in the Santra area, which is close to the airport, just across the bridge, then you're going to have more of a local experience, because there's not as many tourists, and you're going to be a lot more immersed in the culture up there, so we've seen. We spent just a few days up in Santra, and we've spent the remainder of our 3 months down here in the lower part around Antung, and there is definitely a difference, but it's nice in both, so it's just going to depend on the kind of experience you want to have while you're here. When you decide which area you would like to stay in, then you're going to have to go apartment hunting. So something you're going to want to keep in mind is to keep cash on you in Vietnamese dong, because apartments disappear so fast when they're nice. You have to be stocking the Facebook Marketplace like a hawk, because when they pop up and they're nice, they go really fast. We looked at 2 or 3 apartments in the last few days. One we really liked, it was our favorite one so far. We went to the bank machine to get the deposit, and before we got there, the apartment was already sold to somebody else, literally minutes later. So have at least 1 month's rent of the apartment you plan on seeing. So if you decide you like it, you can give the property manager the deposit right there, and then it's yours. So you don't have to worry about losing it, like we did. Learn the hard way, I guess. Which brings us to our next 2 points: transportation and SIM cards. Transportation is a slippery slope. So if you look up the 1968 and the 1949 conventions, the Geneva Convention and the Vienna Convention, which relates to your international driver's license, even if you have a motorcycle license from your home country and an international driver's license, you are not legally allowed to drive here. So if you have health insurance and you get in an accident, you are f***ed. Simple as that. With that said, oh, big wave. Oh, I gotta move. Whew. Sorry, big wave. So something to keep in mind, if you're gonna drive here, just beware you are playing with fire. The traffic can be absolutely nuts, and you will not be covered on your health insurance if you get in an accident and you were driving and you weren't supposed to be, because insurance doesn't like to pay. And if there's a clause that they don't have to pay, like you driving when you're not supposed to, they're not gonna pay. So just be aware. So I'm not condoning renting a bike, so I'm not saying do it or don't. This is strictly informational. So do with it as you please. Try to take a vlog, and the tide is coming in, so the waves are rolling under my feet and behind me, and it's making me dizzy, and I'm almost falling down. I feel like I'm drunk. Pretty interesting, actually. The waves are really good here today for surfing, if you guys can see. Quite nice. And what you can expect to pay for a bike is roughly around 2 million per month, Vietnamese dong. It's a nice bike. It's a fairly new, only about 6,000 or 7,000 kilometers on it. A 155cc Yamaha. It's big enough for 2 people. Only burn roughly about $5 to $6 per week in gas. That's it. To give you an idea, we were burning like, I think in the other video I had a number done up, it was like $1,500 a month in gas in Canada. And plus 2 vehicle bills. So down here, it's like $140 a month for the vehicle and about $20 a month for fuel. It's nuts. If you do decide to venture out and try to drive here in Da Nang, what you can expect is east of the river during the day, it is very quiet. West of the river, closer to the city centre, it is completely nuts all day long and all night long. However, on the east side of the river during the night, the quietness is not so quiet anymore because the nightlife is definitely a huge thing here in Da Nang. It's so hot during the day, especially in dry season. People don't go out much during the day. It's like a ghost town. And when the sun goes down, it's like you kicked an anthill and everybody comes out. It's crazy at night, but it's one of the most beautiful cities, probably the most beautiful city I've ever been in. Everything is completely lit, top to bottom is beautiful here. And of course the beach, which is also lit at night and very early in the morning for everybody that exercises at 4:30 a.m., which is pretty much everybody in Da Nang, I'm convinced. 4:30 a.m. before anybody wakes up. And we were not the first ones here. I don't know if you guys can see that on the beach. There are hundreds of people here already. People exercising, people swimming, walking the beach, there's cardio classes, yoga at 4:30 in the morning. That's why everybody is so fit here. Next is going to be your SIM card. You're going to want a local SIM card. We decided to go with Viettel, which is one of the main companies here, I think. They have outlets all over town. This is the one we went to here. We got a SIM card for each of our phones for about $7 per month. That's it. And that gets us 5 gigs of 5G data per day for the entire month. And we just go back at the end of the month and just buy another one for $7. It's extremely cheap, extremely easy, and it works pretty well too. So all you really need it for is to run your WhatsApp and your Google Maps for getting around. And if you need to talk to anyone, you just use WhatsApp, so you don't actually have to buy a phone plan, just data. Next is going to be seasons. When should you come here? We just spent 3 months here of dry season and it was consistently averaging 38 degrees Celsius per day for 3 months. It was hot, hot as shit. And I love it. It was freaking wonderful. Rebecca nearly passed away, but I thought it was great. So if you like heat, come in dry season. It rained roughly about a few minutes per month. Once a month on average, we had a little tiny sprinkle of rain, maybe a half an hour, and then that was it for another month. It was crazy. But now that it's wet season, it hasn't stopped raining pretty much at all. Periodically through the day, the clouds will stop dumping, but they're still there. But we haven't got out in a week, pretty much, to film at all because of the rain. That's why we're so late getting this video out. Temperature-wise, rainy season is quite comfortable. You're talking about 20 to 28 degrees on average, pretty much every single day. It's very, very humid because of the clouds and the rain and the heat and the steam coming off the pavement because of the sun and the rain. It's quite nice if you don't like sweltering heat, but beware, it is still very humid. You're also coming to the tropics, so you can't expect to show up to a snowstorm and put your sweater on. It's fucking hot here. It is what it is. So once you've got yourself an apartment and wheels and some transportation figured out and your SIM card, you're going to need your bare necessities. So if you're staying here for a while, eating out every single day, 3 or 4 times a day can get quite expensive, so you're going to want a grocery store. Fast as fuck, boy. So we're at a grocery store in Da Nang. It's the weirdest grocery store I've ever been in. There's a lot of stuff here, and I don't know what any of it is. Through the whole store so far, I've only recognized 2 things. Coffee, sugar. That's it. Everything else I've never even seen before. But we're going to tour around and check this place out. I'm so lost. And amenities like access to pharmacies, both men and women's hygiene products. If you're a female coming here and you're looking for things like tampons, it's going to be very hard to find. Rebecca has looked and she can't find them. However, there is an app here called Lazada, which is basically like the Amazon of Da Nang. You can go on there and order stuff for fairly cheap and have it shipped to you. So you can get it if you look for it hard enough, but you'll likely pay for it. As for everything else like soap and shampoo and brands that we have back in Canada, you can get Head & Shoulders here. There's all kinds of great stuff. You can get Old Spice here. It's not what some people think where it's third world. It's not. It's, as you can see, it's an extremely developed city here. Like, there's everything you need here. But some things and some brands may be harder to find than others. The next is, should you drink the tap water? No, definitely not. We drink bottled water. We usually buy the 18-liter jugs. They're about 25k, which is only like $1.50 Canadian, something like that. And they last us 3 or 4 days. Then you have fresh, clean water every day. we brush our teeth and shower and do our clothes and everything in tap water, and it's fine. But we're kind of diligent, you know. You don't want to swallow any tap water because you don't know what's in it. So just get bottled water. The next one is a topic which I do not enjoy talking about, and it's, should I be afraid of getting served dog meat? Yes, that is still a thing. In certain parts of Da Nang, you can still find it. Outside of Da Nang, apparently it's more common if you go farther north, like more into the jungly areas. But right here in town, apparently it's still a thing. And even in the tourist areas like Antung, which is right behind me here, just behind this big brown building, some of the local restaurants that have the small little plastic chairs, which you'll see everywhere when you get here, according to locals, which I've made friends with since I've been here, I was informed from the locals that you will indeed still be served dog meat in some of these small little places if you're not careful. So you want to pick and choose where you go, try to make some friends here, ask the locals, and steer away from those places if you're not into eating pets. Dogs are family, dogs are friends. We don't eat dogs. So, yeah, we avoid that at all costs. So just be warned, it is here. If, despite what the internet tells you, it is here, and that's right from the mouth of the locals. Next is an important one, money and bank machines. There are bank machine scams here, and I see them on the Da Nang groups on Facebook regularly. So I would recommend joining some Da Nang groups on Facebook for expats and travelers before you get here. And sometimes you'll see people post certain locations of ATMs that they may have had issues or scams with, so you know which ones to avoid. It's quite helpful. We tend to stick to the same bank machine. We've only used one since we've been here, which is the Vietin, I think I pronounced that right, Vietin Bank, which is right beside the Antung tourist area. We've used that one since we got here, and neither of us have had any issues. We check our bank account regularly to make sure nothing's wrong, and everything's went great. I can't speak for any others because we haven't used them. Just be aware, check the Facebook groups for Da Nang, and most people are pretty good and they report when they see scams, so it's really convenient to have it. Next is the beach. How is the beach? The beach is frigging amazing. You can walk out so far and it's sand. There's no coral, there's no rocks. So for scuba diving, it's probably shitty because it's all sand. But if you're into swimming and surfing, oh my God, this place is beautiful. It's like a light beige sand, and it's literally as far as you can see. Because if you look at the map of Da Nang, it looks like a short beach, but it is quite literally as far as you can see in both directions. The beach is enormous. So you're in for a treat if you're coming to the beach, especially when it's hot. It doesn't matter how many people there is here, the beach is never crowded because it's so big. And there's lots of places to stop and get a beer and restaurants along the beach too, and chairs are actually pretty cheap. And unlike Bali, you can just come to the beach. You don't have to pay to park your scooter and all that bullshit and get scammed every time you want to go to the beach and enjoy the sunshine. You just come down, park on the walkway, which goes the whole length of the beach here, and come down to the beach and sit down. Now, if you want to get a chair in front of a restaurant, you may have to buy a drink, which is like a couple of bucks. Or sometimes you can pay a fee for a tanning chair, and it's not very much. It might be 30 or 40K, which is like $2 or $3, and you can stay there all day. So it's pretty good. But again, you don't have to pay to park, and you don't have to get a chair. You can just come down and sit on the towel on the beach all day, and it doesn't cost you anything. I like it so much more than Bali. As for the beach in dry and wet season, there is quite an amount of waves here in wet season. It is a lot of current, a lot of pull. Surfers are loving it because they're out all day long on the waves. But for swimming, there is lifeguards walking back and forth the beach calling people out of the water quite regularly because, as you can see, it is quite choppy here. This next one is a point Rebecca really wanted me to put in, and I wasn't going to, but I will for her. And a lot of people out there that may be afraid of coming to Da Nang and wondering what things are here that can kill you, like bugs and snakes and big cats and saber-toothed friggin' walrus, I don't know. But if you're here in this touristy area, there is not too much to kill you, only your own bad decisions, like driving in traffic at night with no motorcycle license, for example. But in regards of everything else, like bugs, there's barely any bugs here. I cannot believe it. Dry season and rainy season we've been here for, and there is barely any bugs. Sometimes we get the little fruit flies around, but other than that, mosquitoes, I can probably count on one hand how many mosquitoes I've killed in a month. It's crazy. I figured there would be so many bugs given that the jungle is so close to Da Nang, but there's not. There's barely anything. There's a lot of dragonflies, but they don't bother people. They just fly around. In regards of everything else, like, you're gonna get cockroaches around, but we don't often see them. I think I've seen 3 in over 3 months. And in regards of snakes, I haven't seen any snakes. Very, very little bugs in general. So it's quite nice. Oh my God, the sun just came out. Oh, that's nice. It's been like a month and we haven't seen sun. It's so nice. It gets hot so fast. As soon as the clouds open up, it goes up 10 degrees instantly. And last but not least, my favorite one on the list, where to get the coffee. Oh my God, the coffee here is so good. They say Vietnam is known for their coffee. Believe it. Oh, some of the coffee here is, it's got to be the best in the world. The coconut coffee is to die for. It's like an iced, frothy, kind of like the consistency of an ice cap from Tim Hortons if you're from Canada. Basically, or a Wendy's Frosty if you ever had Wendy's. It's got that consistency, only it's coconut flavored and there's a big shot of espresso in the bottom. It is friggin' delicious. So definitely recommend the coconut coffee. There's a bunch of other ones too, like salt coffee and milk coffee and all kinds of things like that. And that's actually going to be a future video. We're going to go around and test all of the local Vietnamese coffees and show you guys what they're like. And we may test them all in one day, so that's going to be interesting. Half a dozen shots of espresso in a day. I think we're going to be wired from that one. And also with the coffee, of course, you're going to need the sweets. And we have 2 places that we go to quite regularly. And a third one if you're lactose intolerant like we are, or if you like vegan. So our main place is called Dalkey Cafe. That's where we get all our coffees and drinks because we are convinced they are the best in Da Nang. They're large portions, really affordable prices, and the quality is, it's perfect. They are the best drinks we have ever drank. Next place is Jeremy's Kitchen, which is a local place, but a guy from America owns it, and he's been here with an established kitchen, I think, since 2015. He has a full line of cakes and cookies and brownies and ice cream, homemade peanut butter, homemade ice cream, everything all in-house, and it is so good. It is one of our favorite places to go. So we're at our new favorite place in Da Nang called Jeremy's. It's a bakery. You can get breakfast and dinner and all that stuff here. You guys get to see the sandwich. This is the clubhouse sandwich, or the Clubosaurus as I'm calling it. Look at how big that is. It's like 2.5 of my hand high. And then we got what Rebecca looks to be very much enjoying. Ooh, a quesadilla. Well, look at that stringy cheese. Oh, that nice. And if you're an apple fritter addict like I am, then they have probably the best apple fritter you will ever eat in your life. And a cinnamon roll that's to die for. So check out Jeremy's Kitchen. Tell them I sent you. It won't matter, I'm not sponsored, but tell them I said hi. And next, for vegans and lactose-free, we have Roots Cafe, which is probably the most popular place here in the An Thung area because they are blocked every single day. But everything in there is vegan. So lots of different meals, different things like falafels, and they also have all different sweets and cakes and cookies and different things like that, which are also all vegan. So given the vegan cafe. But anyway, here's the place. Can we sit down? Definitely want to check that place out. And their smoothie bowl is really good. Whether you're vegan or not, the smoothie bowl is delicious. I don't like vegan food at all because I love meat, but smoothie bowl's great. But that's all for this video, guys. Thanks for following along. And if you guys like our content and want to see more of our adventure here in Da Nang as we figure out what the hell we're doing in this part of the world, please like and subscribe. We really appreciate it. Thank you. And we will see you on the next one. This poor little guy just washed ashore. He's not doing so hot. You shouldn't swim in the deep end if you can't swim.